In this video I'm going to talk you through how to set up your domain. Okay, what I'm going to assume so far is you've got a domain name for a traffic equalizer site. You've bought a domain name, or you've registered it for a year, or at least a year. And you've also got hosting, appropriate hosting for the domain. What you need to do is point that domain at your hosting. So you've got the domain set up with your web host, but you need to point it at the web host. Because a domain by itself doesn't go anywhere. It's got to point to a web host. So that when somebody types in the address, or when somebody visits the address, they automatically get forwarded to the web host, and the web host then shows them your web pages. And what points your website visitors to the right web host is, well, they're called the name servers. And I've got I register most of my domains through Namecheap. And you generally set up your name servers through your domain registrar control panel. So I'm going to choose a domain now. Okay, what I've done, I've gone to the page for one of my domains, just a demo site, demosite1.info. And you would need to do what I'm going to do here, but it may look a little different, of course, depending on where you register your domains. But what I want to do is go to domain name server setup. We're setting up the name servers for this domain. And then your web host would tell you what are the correct name server addresses to point the domain to them. So for example, I have this site, demosite1.info, I have this domain hosted with DreamHost. And the correct name server details for DreamHost are given to me by DreamHost. And they are ns1.dreamhost, ns2.dreamhost, ns3.dreamhost. So those are the name servers for DreamHost. So I enter those details as the name server information for this domain. So whenever someone types in this domain, they automatically get forwarded to DreamHost, because that's what the name server says. The name server setting says they automatically get forwarded to DreamHost, and then DreamHost displays the web pages that I've got hosted with them. So that's what you need to get a site live. You need to get a domain, find an appropriate web host and get the domain set up on that web host, and then you need to point your domain to that web host with the right settings, with the right name server settings. So then you would have a site live on the web. And as it says here, changing name servers, it can take up to 24 hours for all the changes to take effect, so be aware of that. So once you've done those 3 steps, getting the domain, getting a web host and adding the domain to the web host, and then pointing the domain to the web host using the correct name server settings, you're live on the web. So then you would need to actually start creating your traffic equalizer site so you can upload it to your web host and have a traffic equalizer site live on the web. And those are the steps I'm going to be talking you through next.